Hey everyone, welcome to my vlog channel. This is a long overdue video, and I was trying to think of the best way to do the intro for this video. And I decided there really isn't the best way to do it, so I'm just going to jump right into it. Topic of this video is being your own advocate and staying in touch with your doctor if you are experiencing side effects from a medication. So I'm going to share what happened to me approximately 2 months ago. My heart doctor was really pleased with my cholesterol. So I'm like, oh, good, got that under control. Then he says to me, well, there's 3 medications I want you to take, blah, 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 that are proven to prevent heart attacks and save your life. Okay, fine. Sounds good. In theory, it sounds really good. Who's going to argue about that? So, I was taking a medication called losartan. Some of you may be on it. Some of you may have had to take it. And majority of people do not have a problem with the side effects of said medication. But I did. Bad. Very first day after taking the medication, at night, I woke up and I could barely get out of bed. I could hardly sit up. I had weird, crushing chest pain on the right side of my chest. And this didn't happen daily. It happened at least 3-4 times a week. It felt like bricks on my chest. And I read the insert that came from my pharmacy, and it mentioned side effects, mentioned chest pain, and that it should go away, along with brain fog, dizziness, lightheadedness. Roughly within a 2-week time frame, these symptoms should have eased up or disappeared. In my case, they didn't. They hung around, and the chest pains were unbearable for a good 5 to 10 minutes. I'm very scared. Very scared while I was taking this medication because I didn't feel right. Not at all. I had intense brain fog where I came out of a gas station, complete blank slate, didn't know where I was, why I was there. And my friend had to blow the horn of the car like, hey, snap out of it. But for me, it was the chest pains, and it just raised my anxiety through the roof. And I wound up having a, I guess you could say, crisis visit with my therapist. And I was so anxious and so panicky and so wound up. I sounded like a talking toy that was just wound up. That's how I was. So after dealing with this for over 3 weeks, I kept calling my doctor's office. And the nurse finally said to me, stop taking it, which I did immediately. And I never got those chest pains back. So there was something with that medication, losartan, that was causing that. Problem is, my heart doctor couldn't figure out what and why. Neither could my family doctor. To this day, he says he cannot find any reason, as far as, I guess, the components of said medication, why I had that particular experience. So out of curiosity, I started Googling if anyone else had weird side effects from this medication. I found a Reddit thread going all the way back to 2019 where people were asking, has anybody taken this, and have you had any kind of weird side effects from it? Some people saying their doctors told them to stop taking it. Other people, their doctors saying they needed to see a psychiatrist, that it was in their head. No, guys, these symptoms are not in your head. If you're feeling anything like I was getting, it's not in your head. It is happening to you physically. So for whatever reason, I cannot take losartan, so because of that, I cannot take valsartan. Now, I was put on lisinopril, and I've had no issues with it whatsoever. My mom took that medication for almost 30 years and had no problems with it whatsoever. So there's something different with that medication versus the lisinopril. I don't know what. But anyway, back to this Reddit thread. People like me were having increased anxiety, panic, rolling anxiety, which is what I had. And I've never been able to control rolling anxiety. Some panic, some general anxiety, yes. But rolling anxiety, I absolutely cannot. It will make me curl up in bed and cry my eyes out. I cannot control it, never could. So, as that medication was slowly coming out of my system, I'm reading this thread and I found people who generally range between the ages of mid-30s to almost 80. Having increased anxiety and panic, suicidal thoughts, anger, the rolling anxiety. This one gentleman actually made his wife sleep in a car for a weekend because he said she was a danger to him and to herself. He was ready at 3:02 her. And I told my heart doctor about the thread. I said, I will email it to you and you can read it. Now, the funny thing is, on their website, the manufacturer's website of Losartan, they do not list chest pains. But I told him the insert that came from my local pharmacy did mention chest pain. So he contacted the pharmacy to see where they got their information from. And it was just really, really weird. So after a few weeks break from that, I had to go for blood work. And I went back to see him. And there was the second medication he wanted to put me on, which is a diuretic, a water pill. Not that I'm retaining water. Again, it's about lowering my blood pressure so my heart doesn't have to work as hard to pump blood, because as I'm getting older, it decreased by a tiny little bit the amount of blood that my heart pumps. Okay, so I was on a weird medication called spironolactone, and it was 25 milligram, and I had to take it in the morning. Guys, when I tell you this medication was absolutely horrible, I am not exaggerating. It was horrible. So much dizziness, so much loopiness, brain fog. But tiredness was the worst. I was only on it for approximately 5 days. 5 days. And I had an appointment with my family doctor. I did not take the medication that day because I said to him, if I did, my speech would be so slurred, according to everybody around me, they could not understand what I was saying. I could not think clearly. I was in such a fog like a zombie. It was horrible, absolutely horrible. So he decided to take my blood pressure, laying down, sitting, standing. And he told me, do not take this medication anymore. My blood pressure was 90/60. Now, throughout most of my adult life, my blood pressure has been in the average range, and occasionally it runs to the lower end of the range. So lower blood pressure has been a constant in my life. It's never been a problem, but it has been a constant in my life. So doctors throughout the years have known my blood pressure tends to run on the lower end of normal and acceptable. Okay? That is not acceptable. And he told me when I got home to leave a message for my heart doctor. So I told them, about the symptoms I was having the first few days, that I didn't take the medication that particular day because of the slurred speech, and he said my blood pressure was just too low. The medication dropped my blood pressure too low. So now, the following week, about 7:45 in the morning, my heart doctor's office did call me, but they didn't leave a message, which I thought was weird. And I was sleeping. No, I didn't even hear my phone go off. So this past week, I still have not gotten a call back from them during the day. So I don't know what is going on in that respect. Probably irritating my heart doctor somewhat. And I just cannot help it. I have no control over how my body handle certain medications. I don't know if it's an issue with my metabolism. I don't know what it is. But it seems that some of these ACE inhibitors and that do not work well for me. And it just seems that there's certain things in medications that my body just does not handle. And that's just the way it is. If that upsets my doctor, I'm pretty sure it does, because it's the whole saving your life thing. But that comes to the topic of this video. So many new medications have god-awful side effects, and they're downright scary. And even if they say, well, it's a rare side effect, it's still scary. Now, there's a third medication that my heart doctor wants me to try. One of the rare side effects is yeast infections, fungal infections, bacterial infections, and worst case scenario, gangrene. Well, the look on my face when he told that, I must have said, hell no. I don't remember saying it. I remember my mouth hanging open, and something came out of my mouth spur of the moment, and it was probably, hell no. And he said, well, that's rare. And I'm like, I remember shaking my head like, no, sorry, no. So, my previous experience with the losartan, I did call that FDA number and report that. I wrote everything down. And these issues with this spironolactone, this diuretic water pill, I wrote that stuff down as well. And I reported that as well. My point of this video is, if you're like me and you've had some odd, unusual side effects that interfere with your basic quality of life, you need to make your doctor aware of it. And if your doctor does not want to listen to you, and if your doctor basically tells you you need some kind of psychiatric help, you may want to get a second opinion. Because if a doctor is callous enough to tell you that, my doctor didn't, but I have heard some doctors will do that, then you may want to actually look for a different doctor, because you need to be your own advocate. And as I said, if the side effects are interfering after a set amount of time with your basic quality of life, that you cannot function normally in your day-to-day routine, then it's high time to either switch your medication, adjust it, or perhaps take you off of it. Now, quick disclaimer. I have no medical training. I'm not advocating anyone to just stop taking your medication if it's making you feel weird, because some medications you cannot just stop taking. All I am saying is you definitely need to make your particular doctor aware and stress it. And if you need to call and leave messages every single day, do so. That is your right as a patient. And definitely make the FDA aware. Many of these things that people experience are not considered side effects that affect the majority. So I would love to see someday some studies done for those of us who have these issues, because we're in the minority. But nonetheless, they are real, they are scary, and they are impairing. So if you have or are having any particular issues with the medication, realize that you are not alone. Believe me, I've gone through it with two. And I'm starting to think that I'm almost feeling like a lab rat, a guinea pig. And I'm probably going to lock horns with my doctor down the road, because I really do not want to even attempt to try this third medication. Gangrene, hearing the word gangrene is terrifying and it's scary. Why should I have to take this medication, quote unquote, to save my life and put myself at potential risk of nonsense like that, where I could lose a limb, or have to take doses of antibiotics for infections that I normally don't get? It's just ridiculous. These side effects and how they could affect my life do not seem to me to justify taking that medication of saving my life. But that's just me. and my decision. So I'm probably going to be locking horns with my heart doctor at some point. I don't even want to take this medication in a lower dose. After having gone through that, no, I do not. I do not plan on taking that crap anymore. So, in closing, be your own best advocate. You have weird side effects? Google to see if anyone else has started a thread, maybe on Quora, on Reddit about it. So at least you know you are not alone. You're not crazy. You're not losing your mind. What you are experiencing is real. Maybe a general population does not experience it, but that does not invalidate what you yourself are feeling. Hammer your doctor with complaints about it. Keep track of everything, write it down, contact the FDA, and at the end, just try to make an informed decision with your doctor to either stop the medication, adjust the dosage, or perhaps try a different medication. But always speak up for yourself. Because at the end of the day, you are the only person that can. This has really knocked me for a loop, messed me up emotionally. Do I really want to be a lab rat again and go through a third medication? Absolutely not. I'm telling my doctor, just the side effects he told me terrify me, and for that reason alone, I do not want to take it. If he can find something different, I would try that, but absolutely no. No. I'm just not doing it. And that's my decision that I made. I'm sick and tired of having my basic quality of life impaired with this crappy medication. I mean, there are natural alternatives to lowering one's blood pressure. And here's something to consider for someone in my situation, as my family doctor said. My heart doctor needs to consider my blood pressure tends to run low. He has to really, really monitor and watch how low he wants it to go, because that's not good for someone like me. So if you're in a similar situation, you may want to check your own blood pressure every day and keep track of that yourself. I probably should invest in something like that myself down the road, because it's important that we are our own advocates, because medications suck. Majority of them are absolutely deplorable, and I can see why a lot of people just choose to go alternative routes. I'm really thinking about looking into that for myself, because the side effects are just disgusting. So, in closing, I just want to let anyone know out there who may be having some kind of issues, trust me, you're not alone. We're in the minority, but that does not invalidate what we have experienced or are experiencing. So, let your doctor know, keep letting them know. As I said, if they don't want to adjust the dosage or are really callous and tell you need professional help, go get a second opinion and see if that helps you somewhat, because there are just some deplorable doctors out there. And my doctor isn't that, but he is definitely a firm believer in these medications because they're the gold standard. But some of them just don't help me and work for me. So I hope you have found this video informing. If it has been, please give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe to this vlog channel. If you have not subscribed to my main channel, it is The Poverty Princess. I'll include the link down below in the description box. Thanks for watching, and I will try to get another video back up on here soon. I've had a bit of an issue with my charger being stolen, so I finally was able to get one. I shouldn't have had to spend money on a charger of all things, but somebody had the balls to come into my room and take my charger. Why? I don't know. Guess they needed one, but nobody around me has a similar HP laptop. So I was able to find, and I thought this was really cool, a universal charger that came with all these different little plugs that could be used on any type of laptop. So I started hiding that when I'm not using it, because who knows, somebody might try to steal that, right? Well, take care, guys. I hope to see you soon here or on my main channel. Take care, and love yourself. Just take care of yourself. You're the only person who really can. Bye.